Hey guys, this is Exalian here. I'm bringing another narrated Pokemon Wi-Fi battle. This time it's against AD Thor, a clanmate of mine. So he leads off with a Scarf Breloom, and he spores my Azelf, rendering it completely useless for the job it's supposed to do. Namely, stopping other people from setting up stuff and then setting up stealth rocks. He follows this by going out into his Jirachi, and as I go out into my Scarf Flagon, I predict the obvious switch, and I go for the U-turn, hoping to get the switch advantage, and I do. I see the Gyarados, and I U-turn on it, obviously, like I already said I would, and fortunately enough, I have a very solid counter to this Gyarados, because Zapdos can beat pretty much every variant of Gyarados as long as it isn't set up, because +0 anything from Gyarados is not going to one-hit kill my Zapdos. So he switches out to his Metagross knowing this, as I predict this and go for the free sub, because this is a sub-roost toxic Zapdos. So I go for the Thunderbolt because of free damage, as he breaks my sub with a Thunder Punch. Now I know that because of the Thunder Punch, he's not going to have Ice Punch, otherwise he would have used it already. And this shows me that I am incredibly safe right now, because that is a solid 2-hit kill right there. I don't know what kind of Metagross that is. I thought at that point that it was an Agility Gross, but I'm going to be proven wrong a little bit later, as you'll see. So he goes out into this Jirachi and shows me his leftovers, showing me that this is a Calm Mind Jirachi. So I have little to do except for making an epic fail and going for a Roost. Why? Why would I do something so stupid? I should have just gone out to my Flagon right away, but sometimes I just do stupid things like that. It's part of being a Pokemon battler. So he goes and gets another free Calm Mind, and this thing is at +2/+2, making it very scary. And I have to go into my Flagon because that's the only thing that I have that can possibly threaten it. And I go for the EQ, because EQ is pro, and Flagon is pro, and Jirachi is not pro, because, you know what? Jirachi sucks. Okay, not really. I love Jirachis personally, but this particular Jirachi sucks, because it couldn't kill my Flagon. I lived with 31 HP. I have to go for the obvious Earthquake just to make sure that it loses its +2 one way or another, but he goes out into his Gyarados, predicting my obvious Earthquake. But then Thor makes an epic play right here. Like, this was an amazing play. He predicts my obvious Zapdos switch in, and he double switches into his Metagross. He already knows that his Metagross is faster, and he goes for the Choice Banded Explosion. So, at first I thought I could live this. Like, if this was a non-Choice Banded Explosion, I might have been able to live this. But he shows me the Choice Banded Explosion right there, and I lost my only counter to pretty much everything on his team. Like, my Zapdos could kill pretty much everything on his team except for that Metagross. He goes for the payback on my Gengar because we blind switched, and I made a terrible blind switch, and I went out with my Gengar versus his Machamp. So I have to go on to my Swords Dance Scizor, because Swords Dance Scizor is, like, one of my only answers to this thing. Like, one of the only things I could freely switch in on a payback. And he Dynamic Punches me as a Swords Dance. I have to go for the Bullet Punch here, hoping for some damage, because really, this Machamp is going to screw over the rest of my team unless I kill it, because it might have its own Bullet Punch, and it also has Payback and Dynamic Punch, obviously, so between all of that, if it was at full HP, it could kill everything on my team. But now that it's reduced HP, I can go out into Lust, Shadow Ball it for the kill, and wait and see what he sends out next. So what he sends out next, I was not expecting to see on this team, and it really made me facepalm for losing my Zapdos. And I have to go for the Shadow Ball against this Kingdra instead of switching out Thunderbolting. He goes for the Rain Dance, telling me that this thing is specially oriented, because the only time you ever see Rain Dance Kingdra is if it's specially oriented, or if it's a Dragon Dancer on an Uber's team. So he's obviously going to kill me with the Hydro Pump, because it's Life Orb and Rain and Stabbed, and I have to go into Verdict. Verdict is really my only hope at this point, because, well, I don't really have anything else to take on this Kingdra because my Azelf is asleep, and this thing will outspeed my Scarf Flagon. So I'm able to live that boosted Hydro Pump easily. Well, not really easily, but I live with a little bit less than half as he goes out into this Jirachi. He hopes to kill my Empoleon, but you know what? You cannot kill the Empoleon. It is impossible. My Empoleon is invincible, indestructible, except to Dawn fans. Sometimes Dawn fans can come in and kill my Empoleon, but that is incredibly rare. So, I have all of my setup at this point. I have my Agility, and my Potato Berry, and the Torrent, and the Rain. I also have the Rain that the Kingdra left behind, which means that this Surf is just super overkill. If I had been able to keep that Rain, that would have been a lot better for me, but that's just how the cookie crumbles. Verdict still does amazingly well in this match, as it does in every match that I bring it into. So I'm able to surf this Gyarados as it goes for the Dragon Dance, and that's a 3-hit KO, telling me that I'm pretty screwed over at this point because this thing can easily go for another Dragon Dance, and +2 Gyarados obviously outspeeds my +2 Empoleon. That was the logic that was going on both sides right here. And he does go for the Dragon Dance right here, and I was congratulating him, telling him GG, congrats on winning. But then, at this point, we discovered something very interesting. Turns out the +2 bulky Gyarados is outsped by +2 offensive Empoleon. Well, what do you know? And his last Pokemon is Breloom, and of course I have the Ice Beam because I hate Brelooms. And that is going to be a solid kill on this Breloom. Even though it is Scarf, I have +2, and this thing is just Scarf, so that was a GG. That was a really impressive game. I love my epic comeback right there. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe.